Hi, altcoin Biblers. Welcome today to a really nice morning of green across the markets. And we're waiting for that close above the 200-day moving average. If you read our newsletter last week where I dive into all the reasons why I think we can be super bullish leading into the back end of September and early October, it looks like it's coming to fruition. So if you're unsure about sort of how we thought about this and how we thought through it and what we actually want to see continuing to move forward, make sure you go back and read that. Also, if you're not a newsletter subscriber, in today's longer edition of the Altcoin Bible, I'm going to go through the Bitcoin chart. I'm also going to look at some other charts like Bitcoin dominance, USDT dominance, and how we're viewing all that in the broader mix. Because right now, altcoins look like they want to absolutely rip across the board. And I think what we need to remember here, guys, is like an oil tanker, the momentum in this market shifts slowly. If we're entering this bull market, which looks like we are, we're just in that initial stages of the upthrust. Bitcoin is ripped through all-time highs, of course, but closing that 200-day moving average is so important. Fourth time we're now running into the top. Cyclically, we're on point, so everything looks really good. Again, I'm going to go into a little bit more depth in the full version. If you're not a new subscriber, make sure you do become one because I'll share that video with you directly to your email. All right, let's get straight into this one here. Now, picking a danger zone right now is actually rather difficult because all the charts look quite positive. And this is where I'm going to throw the danger zone out there, is we got to start looking now at actually some that will need a cool off. They're just absolutely ripping out of nowhere. Now, SUI has been an amazing move. I myself have bought into SUI when I saw this break of this horizontal here. Boy, has it not disappointed? I mean, from that move, 76%. It's been a heck of a trade. And when you get the market turning your way, and if you keep things super dialed in to the basics, for example, this 3-touch resistance that we've now flipped support. As soon as you start to see that and closures above it, you're like, all right, licking your lips here. This is fantastic. Just got to be patient, have alerts, and then go, with decisive energy when you do move into a trade like that. But SUI now, and if this is a bull market broadly, the new trend is clearly up for a lot of these coins. Again, if we're moving into that bull zone. So there are going to be times when it's going to just run incredibly hard and people are going to FOMO into it, right at the top. And then it's going to have a little pullback into Fibonacci retracement levels or moving averages, whatever you want. But it needs to cool down and consolidate before it loads for the next load high. If you remember in the bear market, we'd have, chop sideways, then drop down a level, consolidate sideways, kind of fool you into thinking it's a rising wedge is going to break up, but it gets to the top of the channel and then it breaks down to the next level. And that's kind of what we're going to have to see in a lot of these coins. But SUI has momentum. It's got strength. The weekly, the monthly looks absolutely incredible. But in between them, we just got to be very sober about seeing very overbought conditions, which we're starting to see that, the high 80s, where a strong coin generally, what it does is, especially in bull markets, when you just see sort of parabolic advances up, it's got to have a little bit of a reset. Now, whether it does it, through into this all-time high area in SUI and blasts up or just hits it and rejects, whatever. There's a consolidation coming at some point. This RSI, what I think it's going to do is stay in these overheated levels in the strength, but it's going to rebound back to 70 and then bounce again higher, almost like this stepping staircase as it moves higher in the broader trend. But SUI, I'm not on edge with it, but I'm just looking at it, again, quite soberly because the strength has been enormous. It's trying to break above the previous breakdown level back when it was in the bull market or bull trend earlier in the year before it then went into a pretty severe downtrend. Again, if the regimes change, then we have to be very cognizant of the potential upside here that it could just rip through at all-time highs and just go nuts. So that's what I'm looking at here. I've got the Fibonacci levels, which it just has no chill whatsoever. It just keeps ripping higher. But I think the 10 EMA here on the daily, this white line, is going to be something to watch. Now, that has moved up significantly up to 1.5 from 1.4 even from yesterday. So I think 1.5, that kind of area, is a really nice reload point for SUI here. Let's bring out the volume, which I haven't already. And this is big for SUI. If it can maintain itself above, I guess, its point of control in this area, the volume up here, if it can maintain itself up there, then we're building for a pretty significant all-time high break. So that's what I want to look at there. It's my danger zone today, but without too much conviction that it's going to, roll over. I just don't think that's going to happen. But a reset and a stop does make sense here soon. So definitely a danger zone, potentially take off some risk. And when we start to get to these levels, it's just a really obvious point where if we're above it, we're incredibly bullish, but if we're below it, we're kind of just running into resistance. So you can take off some risk and then rebuy if it just cracks above and then retest. So that's something to think about. Now, WIF, a lot of charts look very similar to WIF in that it's begun to break out. And here's, again, what I want to highlight that I did just with the SUI just before. And one of the easiest trades you can do, especially in an uptrending market, is just playing the resistance support levels. You can see how important this level here at 1.9 was. Bang, bang. And then you can see the range low very clearly there, but bang. What have we done here? We've smashed the top of that range with a big, bold green candle. So that's, and it's on volume as well. So we've got volume coming in here, it's closed above, nice and bold, right through it. Bit of a retest back to the top here. This is a Monty. I think this is a Monty to absolutely go to 2.2, maybe even start a much broader run. That's when we have to really consider this level here, 2.27, but then cracking this. So right now, WIF is creating a new trend. So it's very clearly, you can see these series of higher lows, and now it's trying to create its high highs. In fact, it is. It's almost higher than this one. But yeah, tagged a higher high just through there. So new trend has begun, and we're just going to have to see where it ends up here. But in a bull trend, it kind of does this bouncy effect, has an impulse up, rebound, and then really expands into its move. So that's what I'm looking at there. So WIF, amongst a host of other coins, including PopCat, which WIF is my one to watch here, guys, if I didn't make that clear. PopCat is my absolute cherry ripe here for the same principles I have just highlighted. And I think I covered this in the last few weeks, also in the newsletter. Last month I've been very vocal about PopCat. Not only is the longer, sort of medium to longer term through this cycle, I think it's going to be a real big runner. But broadly, I think the trend was very, very clear. As soon as we did this higher high situation and higher low, then we cracked this horizontal. That to me was, Pop just wants to go. And now we've cracked the all-time high resistance and flipped it as support. So again, with the daily is closed above it, on recent times at least, you've had to be a little bit careful buying just the first daily close into there. You still might get a bit of a fake out here, but this to me looks like a rising wedge that's cracked higher, but the horizontal is the important thing. If you just close above, the dollar level, PopCat is marking up and she's just zooming to new all-time highs. And that's what PopCat's doing here. So the trend is very, very clear. Once the market gets a decisive, clear image of where it's going next, it's sort of the momentum begets momentum. It's the pile-in that begins, and that's what creates the FOMO, the runs higher, new regime, people get bullish, the money comes back in, and this is what you want to see, guys. So yes, I'm very, very excited about what I'm seeing in the markets. Want the daily close to hold above the 200-day moving average of Bitcoin. Otherwise, a few of these gains on alts probably rewound. But so far, so good. All right, have a great day, and we will see you again next time. Bye-bye, guys.